was a comment that was made on Facebook the other day about being a submissive woman. They were saying that a submissive woman controls her man, and I agree with that. I think until we begin to talk in honesty and transparency and stop pandering to both sides, especially to the sisters, because there is so much entitlement, and because men have been quiet for so long, and it's been the men that has been quiet were the type of men that y'all really need to be listening to. The men that doing the most talking ain't the ones, they don't have nothing to say anyway.
What's good? It's your boy Quay Price, man, holding it down for Kandid Konvos. Definitely check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. People today, they lazy. Ain't nobody trying to put in no work. If stuff start getting a little rough in the relationship or in the marriage, ain't nobody trying to fix nothing. Like, I mean, that's how people's mindsets are today. Yeah, but that's how I know that folks don't truly understand what marriage was about, because they tap out way too easy. Yeah, you see people fight harder for a job, like they can't go get another one of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, she's talking about these guys coming to these foreign countries and sourcing out these foreign women because they possess these character traits. Yep, they're more cooperative when it comes to a man, or they're more cooperative when it comes to a marriage and a relationship. They're more, nurturing forward when it comes to a relationship. They're more I don't even want to use the word soft, but I'll use the word soft. They're softer when it comes to, these relationships and interactions with men and so forth. And like I said, we definitely got to be honest. We see a difference, right? We see a difference. And I think, Chloe and Tay made some good points earlier. A lot of this stuff is based around money over here in the West. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Coco on deck. We got Vince on deck. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, man. Shout out to that. Listen, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Listen, if you haven't already, smash that like button for us. Likes are free. Smash that like button for us. Also, since we got you, well, we'll hold off on that right now. Let's say if you feel so inclined, hit that share as well. Let's say we want to get these great conversations out to as many of our people as possible. Yeah, we can only do that via shares and likes. Yeah, likes are very important in 2025. So definitely, if you have not already, hit that like button for us. Hit that like button for us. All right, let me see what we got checking in early. Let's see. Shout out to Kenyatta in the building. She said, happy Wednesday. What's going on, Kenyatta? Appreciate you joining us tonight, holding us down. See Donovan, he said, hey, hello, happy Wednesday, fam. Happy Wednesday to you, brother. Appreciate you hopping on with us tonight as well. Hold down the platform. All right, let me do this real quick. Here's a link to join us on the panel. You can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge. If you're coming through an Apple device, you got to use Safari. But yeah, join us on the panel. Don't be scared. I said we will check you out before we let you up on the panel, so we don't have no nonsense going on, but definitely join us on the panel. In addition to the video feed, we also have this link in the chat feeds as well, so you can catch it once again at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook, or you can shoot us a message. We'll get it to you that way as well. We'll leave this link up here a little bit as we get into the conversation. Let's see, Nicole in the building. What's going on, Nicole? Appreciate you joining us tonight. IT in the building. All right. Hey, man, is that all for right now? I think that's all the housekeeping right now. All right. Well, y'all want to get straight on into this?
Let's do it.
Let's get it. All right. So topic for tonight. Do Black people need a village? Great question. Topic for tonight. Do Black people need a village? All right, anybody who needs that link, let me know. I'll put it back up for you. But let's just send the chat feed so you can catch it at the top of the chats. All right, so we got a couple videos came over. I think this is actually an interesting conversation, but we're going to kick this off, get right to it.
In Detroit, there has been numerous cases of mothers unaliving their children, children being found, passing away and things like that. We had 2 kids pass away in a car. In a casino garage downtown. The fact that I'm pointing behind me because the casino back there is crazy. We had a mother that unalived her child and buried him in a shallow grave and moved to Atlanta with her other child. What? We had a mother lose, I don't know if both children passed away or just one, but she would leave her children at home while she was out hanging out with her boyfriend. And then we had the mother in Pontiac that left her 3 children at home for 5 years. The 15-year-old son, the 13-year-old daughter, and the 12-year-old daughter. So the 15-year-old son had been responsible for raising his sisters. Was it 5 or 3? 5. It was 5. It was 5 years. Since he was 10 years old. I'll never forget that detail. That detail stuck out of my head. Crazy. Wow.
The house was
and the house was disgusting. The house was disgusting with the little girl who passed away as well for the mother who was staying the weekends with her boyfriend. The little girl passed away because a dresser fell on her. That house was absolutely atrocious as well. Let's get into this conversation of what is going on with mothers and parenting and these situations. Excel.
I'll start by saying we took the village away. Because when I was younger, if my mom wasn't home, my neighbors would come and check on us.
Yes.
My neighbors would be like, if we weren't supposed to be outside, when your mom not home, you're not supposed to be outside. So if we weren't supposed to be outside, my neighbors would come out and check us in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
What you doing out here? Your mama not here. You're supposed to be in the house. And or if we was doing something we had no business doing, our neighbors would check us. Our neighbors not only checked on us, but they checked us too. We don't have that no more. Now we so busy being upset with the neighbor for talking to your kid or saying something to your kid or checking your kid. I tell my neighbors, as long as it's within reason, check her first, then come get me.
Yeah.
Because I want my kids safe. If she running off in the middle of the street, check her first, then come get me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting ready to bark off at my neighbor because my kid is doing something that they ain't had no business doing. But it also goes to checking me, right? Because if I'm doing something I ain't got no business doing, where's the people who are protecting my kids?
This is true. I think also when you start talking about, the village thing and what happened with society, man, I really think that it comes down to some of these women or parents having some mental issues. Absolutely. Because to leave your kid, like, well, my daughter's 17 now, but when I first started leaving her, at a young age, not really young, but to like go run to the store and then come right back, I would be freaking out like, damn, let me hurry up and get back. Like, so I can't imagine talking about going to hang out for a weekend, let alone be gone 5 years. To me, that's crazy. So I just think that people in that scenario, man, they got some severe mental issues going on. And I think that is where the state, because I think the state did come in a few, like 3 or 4 times with one of those cases and nothing happened. And it's like, at this point, you got to do your job, and you got to get these kids out of harm's way and to some.
So what you were talking about in regards to the state being involved, the woman who unalived her son and then buried him in a shallow grave, months before she actually acted on it, he told CPS and his teachers that she wants to do this to me. She wants to harm me. She wants to unalive me.
Now, how does that go unheard?
And it's so crazy because I feel like CPS will entertain so much crap, but when it comes to things that actually matter, it's like people. So many people weaponize CPS instances that don't matter, and this to me matters. But back to what you were saying in regards to the village, I think that change and that shift happened in the 90s. It went from all of us are raising these kids together. We're all, hey, you my kid uncle. You know, if you need to snatch him up, snatch him up. It went from help me with my kids to don't say anything to my kid. Don't say nothing to my child. But and it's for me, it's like it's a balance. It has to be a balance there because I can understand not saying it to my kid if you're extreme in how you move. But a lot of us needed to be. I say that all the time. A lot of my shortcomings in life, outside of the fact that I'm neurospicy and went undiagnosed for 30 plus years, is the fact that my mom did not let people check me. I'm the adult version of don't say shit to my kid. I had to learn how to be checked. I had to learn how to say, hey, it's okay that he's going to agree with you.
The kids with the schooling. Like the teachers, you know, I come from an era where the teacher could paddle you.
Absolutely.
You know, now the teachers can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like really, the teacher bend you over and paddle you, hit your hands with the strap. I come from that. I went to school. I've seen that. I experienced that. Yeah. So now kids, it got to be. I don't know whether the parents got younger or I don't know where the disconnect happened, but now it's like you say, you put your hands on my kid, I'm gonna fuck you up. And now the kid know that and they understand that. And like any kid do, they use it and they manipulate the situation.
That's why I pull up on children. I just pulled up on the child. I pulled up on it.
And what do you mean by this?
So my son had an issue with a kid who was 3 years older than him.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And so he put his hands on my son, but my son got up and he tried to fight back, but he really couldn't, bro. He's 10. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The other kid was 13. So my girl's like, yo, you should call the school. I'm like, what the school gonna do? Suspend him? He gotta understand that there's bigger consequences than suspension.
Yeah.
So, you know, I coached the football team, so they were all calling me left and right, like, oh, Coach Rico, this and this and this is happening. So I was like, all right. So they put the kid on FaceTime. I tried to talk to him and he wanted to be tough. All right, cool. So the next day I pulled up on the kid right after school.
Yeah.
And then after I said what I had to say, I was like, now call your mother, call your father, put them on the phone. Yeah. Because I tell them that I said it too. Because I'm checking their child.
Correct.
Right? And I'm going to tell them right now, if your child puts his hands on my son again, especially because I have a nephew that's 3 years older than him, 16.
Yeah.
I get him fucked up if I really want to.
Let's play.
Right? But I'm not going through that. But what I want to do is I want to allow him to understand basically that village. We going to make sure that we tell you're going to understand the consequences of what can happen. And I'm going to tell your parents as well. So the mom got upset. She went to the school, but the principal called me and she was like, I understand what you're going for.
All right, so I cut it right there. I don't want to run us too long. So yeah, so tonight we talking, do Black people need a village? Okay, let me get some of these comments that came in early. Let's see. Kenyatta said, not everything is mental illness. Some of it is downright selfishness. That's real right there. Let's see. Donovan said, village needed. Yes, but accountability and responsibility need to be in place before adulthood and reproduction. That's valid as well. He also said, discipline needs to return. Yeah, that's facts. All right. So yeah, I think it's a worthy conversation. I'm gonna make some tie-ins as we get into this, because this is not just in the context of the video. So yeah, we'll get into that. So yeah, I'm gonna come to the panel. Coco, Vince, Herschel, what y'all say about what y'all just saw? What y'all think about this concept? What happened to it? Where did we go wrong? Should it come back? Give me y'all thoughts, and we'll go from there. Anybody can come off mute if you want.
Yeah, I
Go ahead,
agree.
Coco.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good, go
I
ahead.
agree. I agree with the gentleman who said he grew up in an era where, you know, it was allowed for you to be paddled in school. Like I grew up in that same era. You know, for me it was elementary school. It wasn't really past that point, but yeah, where for us it was the gym teacher. The gym teacher had the big paddle, and the teacher would threaten to send you to the gym teacher, and that's what he did. And all the parents knew that that's what he did, right? And for the most part, I know there were a few parents that didn't like it, but for the most part, you know, the parents were on board for that, because the first question they would ask you when the school called or when you tried to tell was, "What did you do?" And at some point, we got away from holding our children accountable. And just like Randy said, now we're seeing a bunch of adults walking around who don't know how to take accountability. Because as parents, you know, some of our parents, it was about holding you accountable. It was a bit like, well, if the school felt like they had to call me, what did you do? Like, why would they call me? Why would they be telling me that, you know, you were in the principal's office? Or why is the teacher, you know, wanting a conference with me? Like, what did you do? Not getting mad or upset with the faculty, or mad and upset with the principal or the administration because your child is acting, you know, acting out. Like automatically parents now are getting on defense. And I think some of it comes from they didn't appreciate being held accountable when they were coming through. So now that they are having an opportunity to raise their children, they're raising their children to lack accountability, right? I hear it from time to time from, you know, Gen Z or the younger millennials. They'll say things like, well, you know, I don't like that my parents did this when I was growing up. I don't like that they spanked me. I don't like that they used to make me do chores. I don't like that they used to do this or they used to do that. I'm not doing that to my kids. And it's like, just because you didn't like it doesn't mean that it wasn't good for you. So now we're going to shy away from anything that feels uncomfortable to us. We're going to shy away from anything that holds us accountable. We're going to shy away from anything that we don't like. That's not life. But if you think about it, that's the way people are responding to things, because now that's what we have. We literally have a bunch of adults walking around who lack accountability, who don't like ever being uncomfortable. They need everything to be convenient for them. They don't have an attention span. They are entitled. You know, this is literally what we're seeing. And I think it's the product of the fact that people grew up feeling like all of the things that used to, you know, be a benefit to them that they didn't appreciate, they're not going to do that with their kids.
Right.
And so now those kids are adults. And now this is where we have society that looks like this. That's where the village went. You know, the village was built on trust and accountability. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't trust everyone. And that's understood. And there are some people out here that mean your children harm. But you know what? There were people back then that meant your children harm. That's never not been a thing. And some of them were in your family. But still, for some reason, our parents were willing to say, okay, well, you know, I'm putting them in your care school for hours at a time. You're with them more than I am. So if they need to be disciplined, as long as it's within reason, then I'm giving you the authority to be able to do that, because what am I supposed to do when I'm at work? You know, or neighbor, Mrs. Jones next door. If you see her or him acting out and I'm at work, or I went to the store, or I had to go do something, get in a behind. Because I can't be everywhere all the time. So we can't complain about not having a village. And I have heard that. I've heard people complaining about they don't have a support system. Where's the village? They don't have a village. You guys scared the village away. Nobody wants to say anything to your kids anymore. Nobody wants to. Now it's so bad that they can see a kid getting injured in the street and they don't even know if they should intervene. That's how bad it is. So if you are wondering what happened to the village, you killed it. Unalived it.
We get it. Oh man, you good right now? You want to say anything else? You good? Oh, you good? Okay, Vince, I saw you coming off. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think that the issue is that the village has been also overloaded. Um, I am a perfect example of needing a village. A lot of you know my story. I had my first child at 17. Um, Going into my senior year, so I was the poster boy for babies having babies. But I had grandparents who were retired, saved. I had aunts who some of them didn't have kids or had grown kids. So they picked up the slack, but I was the only one out of my cousins and everybody else that had a child that young. Now, instead of, I maybe had 5 or 6 cousins, none of them had kids out of wedlock. None of them had kids in their teenage years. So I was able to have a village because I was kind of the only one that needed that type of help. But now you got, out of those 5, 3 of them got babies, more than one. Mama's still working. Daddy ain't nowhere around. Because you also have to understand the village is the family, is the nuclear family. And I had both sides. I had my mother's family and I had my father's family. My kids had me and she had their mother. See, some of these kids don't have no daddy. They don't have no daddy side. So you trying to get help from one side of the family who's already overloaded. I just don't understand. How can kids be in the house for 5 years and nobody said nothing? What was the grandmama? The daddy didn't go check on his kids, put eyes on his kids? You okay with her just telling you, oh, well, we'll FaceTime you when we get home? And they don't never FaceTime you?
Mm.
That's the problem. It's then also, just like I said before, a lot of these kids are being conceived out of sex. Now, mind you, I was 17. I don't think I really knew what love was. It was puppy love, but you got people having sex with people that they don't even know. Haven't met their family, haven't met their mothers and fathers, don't even know their name. How can you raise children like that? Right. Especially when you need a lot of help. So this is a cultural thing. And I don't know if we want to be completely honest with where we are as a people. Because I'm seeing all these, and mind you, I've been in a situation. I've been a teenage father. I had a kid out of wedlock. But I don't think it was as celebrated as it is now. It's, oh yeah. When you're really setting your kids up for struggle life. It's a struggle. Have a child when you're young and not married.
Right.
You're not together. So I don't know if we want to have that conversation.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, I'm not sure that we ready to have it either, man. Good point. Good point right there. Ursula, you want to say something on this, man?
Yeah, I'll be brief. Like the society now, everybody's so sensitive, overly sensitive, and a lot of people are against like corporal punishment. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of shifted. So how can we have a community to help in that way if even in your house you don't even agree with doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like putting the paddle to your child if they're acting unruly, if they're doing something wrong. A lot of kids they don't get punished now. They get talked to, and that doesn't really do much to certain kids. Certain kids, like for me, I'll be straight up with you guys. I wasn't abused, but I had got a belt to me. My time when I was a kid, and that taught me something. I was like, okay, I don't want that again. So I shaped up. I wasn't afraid of my mama, my daddy, or nothing like that. I didn't look at them as like, I didn't flinch every time I see him or anything like that. I just, I loved them. I understood. They explained to me what it was. But nowadays we don't, we people are too worried about CPS and those type of things. So I don't know. I really don't know how that community can rebuild, or if our whole thought process is in a different place.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Appreciate that comment right there. Let me get a couple of these comments real quick, and then we'll come back to the panel. Let's see. Freedom Unlimited Productions. He said, let's see. I heard somebody say it a little earlier. First and foremost, kids need to stop having kids. Facts. Yeah, no, that plays into it. Yeah, we got a lot of folks who are reproducing and they're really not ready or in the proper mindset to do that. So yeah, we got to be honest about that. And I think, Vince hit that on the head when he said some of these conversations we ain't ready to have. Yeah, like some of the stuff that we're out here doing, we are not ready to have the real conversation around it. So he was spot on with that. Appreciate this comment right here. See, Kenyatta said nobody smelled anything. The way that house looked was disgusting. I know it smelled. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Kenyatta. I said, she's just representing back to the video. With some of the situations that have been happening in Detroit for anybody who missed the video. I'm sure somebody did, Kenyatta, but I think, what's happening today is, once again, I think everybody is turning the blind eye, as they say. Everybody is pretending basically pretending that they don't see and hear things because it doesn't, or they don't feel like it affects them directly. Yeah, and I think that is a problem. Yeah, I think that is a problem for us to continue to act like we don't see and hear things, or we don't know better, just because we feel like it ain't hitting us directly, or it ain't hitting our children directly, because we know eventually, as we see, it's going to circle back around at some point. It's going to catch them at school. It's going to catch them going to the corner store. It's going to catch them at the mall. It's going to circle back at some point. So as much as you want to feel like it's not your problem, eventually it ends up being your problem. But, once again, as we ready to have that conversation. So, man, shout out to The Real when he said, good evening, late night, everyone. The Real one in the building. What's going on with you, man? Appreciate you holding us down. YouTube in the building. All right. So let me come on back up. Let me check in. Joe just hopped on. Joe, you want to say something on this, or you good right now, man?
Yeah, I'll say something.
Go ahead.
Briefly. We all live of an age where we remember when our teachers, they were basically our surrogate parents, and they had to be, because we spent the most time with them, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And we also remember growing up on the block, in the neighborhood, the neighbors and the neighbors' neighbors and their neighbors were also our surrogate parents. So, didn't have cell phones at the time. We had nothing but pay phones, and you was out someplace far that they know you shouldn't be. Word would always get back around to mom and dad that you was someplace. Like, how did you know? We didn't have cell phones. So it was everyone looking out for everyone else at the time. I'm not really sure exactly when that shift happened. Like maybe mid 2000s, but I just remember that even my own teacher, he would come visit my father's house, and if my music teacher, it wasn't even a major class, it was an elective, and I would get in trouble if I didn't do well for playing the clarinet. But what I noticed the common denominator is that it was the fathers, men were just around. So it wasn't just a community of just women there, it was also men there. So even if the guy was just a side dude, even he was looking out for the kids on the block. So the man, it provided some sort of structure that allowed everyone to keep everyone in check. When the man left the community, whether it be the uncles, the fathers, the brothers, whatever, the older gentlemen, that's when you have the chaos, because you notice it's the women who are abandoning their kids and leaving their kids unattended to go to the casino and dine in the cars and things like that. So it at some point that broke down, and my theory is that I think it's been a growing fear of people. Let me see how to say it on YouTube. Abusing children, and they as you how do I say? I don't want to get y'all flagged, but I think you know what I'm getting at. So I think it's that fear of that's been growing as well. So it's kind of like as that's been growing, then you have the biological parents saying, I don't want nobody talking to my child, looking at my child, because that has been a thing that's been increasing a lot. But then the consequence is that now you don't have anyone looking out for your kids because you distrust everyone else who isn't in your immediate family, who isn't in the home itself. So in one way, it's like, yes, there's been an increase of actual violence towards children and trafficking, but then you also have the consequence of removing the community and the teachers from even looking at or saying anything to the child because of that fear. So I'm not really sure how that problem can even be fixed, because if the fear is there, then you can't have a community. But then if you seek to have a community, you also potentially expose your children to that very real possibility of assault of any type of way. I think it's a societal thing. It's a societal issue that's broken down, and I'm not sure which one would have to be fixed. Do we increase the trust? Do we increase security? But there's always consequences to either or. It used to be a nice balance of both, but that's no longer existing. So that's just what it is.
No, I got you, man. No, I appreciate appreciate that comment right there, Joe. Let me get this comment real quick. Let's see. Eva Wright said there is a lack of respect, period. Some of these kids nowadays think it's okay to fight their teachers. Yeah, no, I agree with this, Eva Wright. We definitely have a lack of respect. But I think some of this lack of respect that we're seeing is because at the end of the day, folks don't want to call stuff out no more. Yeah, we just let everything ride. You know what I'm saying? We want everything to be gentle. All the gentle parenting we doing now. Like we want everything to be, we want everybody to be coddled. Yeah, it's like we don't bring firmness anymore. We don't want to provide structure. We want everybody to just, be able to make all the decisions and any type of decisions that they want, regardless if they're right or wrong. Like, yeah, it's crazy to me. But let me go back to the video real quick, because the young lady in the red that said essentially that the village is missing, she stated it as took the village away. And I'm trying to understand who did that. Who took the village away? Was it really that somebody took the village away, or did folks just stop participating?
And why?
Yep, right. Did folks just stop participating? And let me go there, because I saw this video and I'm like, I think it's a valid conversation for multiple reasons, right? Because this is the same thing. Just be honest. This is the same thing that we see in the relationship space today. Yep, everybody has taken on this attitude that they don't need anybody. Yeah, we got a lot of folks today that have taken on this attitude that they don't need anybody. They don't need no help. Yeah, they're taking on this attitude that, they've gotten where they've gotten because of them, and acting like there was nobody in the path before them that helped them get there. Nobody helped fund the education. Nobody invested in the business that you now we're talking about. You done got out the mud, but yet somebody was funding you on the back end. We walking around in this relationship space, women acting like they don't need men. They can do it all by themselves. They don't need no help. But as soon as something happened, they calling a man. Yeah, we got men walking around. I don't need these ladies. These ladies ain't ish. But as soon as he hit a moment, he looking for a woman. He looking for some nurturing. It's like, when did we take on this attitude that we don't need nobody and we don't need no help?
I only need God. I only need God in my life. I got my right hand.
And I understand.
I got my Bible.
I understand. That's where it starts. But we've gotten to the point now where we feel like we don't need people. Yeah, we out here, getting with folks, creating these children, acting like we don't need no support. Better yet, before we created them children, we was acting like we ain't need no support. Yeah, that's typically how the children got here, because somebody was trying to support you and give you guidance and you ain't want to hear it. If somebody was trying to tell you how to move and how not to move and you didn't want to hear it. Yep. So now we see what we see. Yep. And then going back to the video, saying that we put up, it's like I'm pretty sure that there were situations prior to all of those situations happening where somebody could have got some help, some guidance, some leadership, some structure. Yeah, but you didn't take it. You didn't want to hear it. And I'm just trying to understand, why did we adapt this mindset that we just do it all on our own? Yep,
Do you think
like
our
we
music and
don't
our
need
entertainment plays a
people.
role?
Say that again, man.
Do you think our entertainment that we put out, do you think that plays a role?
No, I'm sure. So yeah, so that's a valid point. I'm sure the entertainment, I'm sure the social media presence, I'm sure those things play into it. But ultimately, it's our decision. Yeah, we had to buy in at some point, and I'm trying to understand why. Yeah, we're in a situation right now where we got a lot of single mothers out here. We got a lot of broken families out here. We got a lot of relationships we can't even get off the ground. Yeah, but people are out in this mindset now, like they can just do it on their own. They don't need no help and no assistance. They don't need no support. They don't want to hear from nobody. If I don't want this person correcting my kid, if my kid is out of line, yeah, I don't want nobody saying nothing when they see some nonsense going on. Like, we've taken on this attitude, and I'm trying to understand why. Why, when we know that ultimately we gonna need some help and some support from somebody else, a lot of times from the opposite gender. Did you want to say something, Coco? Go ahead. I didn't know if you want to say something.
No, I was just going to say, I think that there's a lot of pride in there, but also I would say this, right? I think that it's interesting that the very thing that we think we want the most, right? When we get it and it doesn't give what it was supposed to have gave, then all of a sudden we recognize the issue, right? When we, as women, said we wanted equality and we fought for it, and we were given, this current version of equality that we now have, and look at what it is has done for us. Like in real life, right? In real life, there are some liberties that we now have that we didn't have. There are some rights now that we have that we didn't have. But what did it cost us, right? When people were saying, "Don't say anything to my kid, don't touch my kid," that's my job. Now I'm seeing this emergence of people getting online saying, "Where's my village? I don't have a support system." Well, you alienated everybody because
Right.
you thought that you needed to have all the control. You thought that nobody could tell you about your kids and nobody can tell your kids anything. It just needed to be you, only you. You were protecting, right? You were protecting your kids, but protecting them from whom? Because now we have children, like I said, that lack accountability and that are entitled, and they're downright brats. They're brats. Like my man said in the video, they know that all they got to do is call their mama. And now you give them cell phones earlier and earlier for them to do just that. Anytime the teacher tries to correct them in the classroom, now the teacher can't even have full authority over their own classroom because they have to be concerned that a child is going to call their parents, sometimes even in the middle of the class, and the parent, instead of coming with the attitude of, "Well, what happened? What did you do?" They come with the attitude of they ready to scrap with the teacher. That's where we are. So y'all wanted to be independent. Y'all didn't want nobody to say anything to y'all kids. You didn't need a man. And now all of those decisions and now all of those choices are coming back to bite you. So when I'm pulling up social media and I'm seeing women crying on the screen because this baby is crying and this one over here is hungry and they trying to work or stay at home, they trying to work from home. And they're like, "I don't have no support." And I'm not trying to make light of it. I feel bad for you. But what do you want me to do? because these were your choices, right? So at what point do you want me to keep coddling you and keep saying, oh, baby, I'm so sorry, poor you? When every single thing that is happening, you helped put yourself in that position. Like you lobbied to be in this position. And now you're here and you're really seeing what real independence means. You're really seeing what it means to say, I don't need no help with my kids. I got this. You're really seeing what that feels like in real time. And it doesn't feel good. And now you're like, well, where's the village? Boo, they don't want to have nothing to do with you. I mean, Rico even said in the clip that he had to pull up on a kid. Now, back in the day, if an adult had to pull your child to the side and have a conversation with your child, and then they said, okay, let me talk to your parent about what you and I discussed, they wouldn't have called the school. They would have talked to that parent. They would have been like, okay, well, now what did he do? Well, he was doing this. He was bullying my son is a lot younger than him. And I just having a conversation with him, not to do that. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have a conversation with him when he comes home. We're gonna talk about it. Instead of now they got to call the school, they got to report you, they got to tell on you. Now you got to, meanwhile, their child was the one that was doing the bullying. This is where we're at as a society. And as a parent, you're making your kids think that's okay. But then you want to turn around when something happened and go, where's the village? I mean, you're right, Quay. They don't want to be bothered. They're like, I don't even want to jump in. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to be bothered. I see Timmy down the street. He shouldn't be down there. But if I say something to him, his mama going to come down here looking crazy, ready to fight me. So, okay, I guess Timmy got to he gonna F around and find out. That's where we're at. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, I miss the village too. I miss the village, but you know what? Thankfully, when you do have people around you, you see them and they see you. They see how you carry yourself. They see your life. You see theirs. You have neighbors that are like, oh, why is he on the porch? He shouldn't be on the porch. Where's his parents at? That's unusual for him. Let me go look out, make sure he okay. So there are still some villages that exist, but you have to want to be a part of that village. Do you want to be a part of a village? You can't expect everybody to want to be a village to you, but then you're not able to reciprocate that same energy. So the villages that do exist, the neighbors that look out for each other, the teachers that do really care about your child and they call you or they want to have a conference with you, they want to talk to you about your child's behavior, and you're willing to actually partner with them, that still exists if you want that. But if you're in the mindset of ain't nobody check me, boo, and can't nobody check my kids, and I can do better all by myself, then it is what it is.
Right. No, that's real right there. Let me get this comment right here. Shout out to Woodsy in the building. She said, or the retaliation from adults and children is scary too, because you don't know how they coming. No, I appreciate this comment right here, Woodsy. I mean, this is true. This is true.
Violence.
But we moving different out here. Yeah, we moving different out here. We acting like, because I said I done seen some folks out here. I done seen them, go handle some biz. Yeah, but then when it comes, gets into this type of conversation, folks get to treading lightly. And I'm just like, well, what we want it to be? What do we want it to be? Yeah, we saying that, this village is missing. We need this village back. And like I said, the village, honestly, is just a group of unselfish people. It's really all the village is. Yeah, these were folks that didn't have to know you personally. Some of them did know you personally, but they were unselfish people. Yeah, they were the folks that when you walk down the street and your kids was out there playing and they would just walk up on you, hey, how you doing? I don't even know you personally, but yeah, I saw your kid, they was over there, going across the street. They wasn't looking. I'm going to keep an eye out since I'm out here cutting the grass. Like that's what the village looked like. Yeah, but back to Coco's point, do you want to participate in the village? Yep. Are you willing to do the same thing for somebody else? While we sitting out here talking about the village is missing and this and that, and why is this happening? Why is that happening? Are you willing to participate? Yep. Are you willing to support somebody around you that you don't know personally just because they have kids like you do? Yeah. Are you willing to let your neighbor know they left their garage door up when they went to work? Are you willing to say something? Is you willing to go over there and push the button and let it down? Or is you just going to leave it up? Like, what you going to do? Yep. Circling back into these relationships. Yep. How long we going to pretend like we don't need each other? Yeah, we talk about this village concept, but we want to move as individuals. We want to act like we can do it all on our own. And we seeing how that's going. Yeah, we are seeing right now when you take the mentality of I can do it all on, I can what they say, I can do bad all by myself. When you take that mentality, we see how that goes. We watching it right now. Your folks can't even get on a successful date. Oh, no, I don't need that from here. Folks can't even get off on a successful date. Yeah, folks out here can't get it popping on a dating app. Like, that's where it's done got. So how long are we going to do it? How long are we going to continue to move selfishly like we don't need each other? Like we don't need help? Like we don't need support? Like we don't need balance? Because once again, that's a key part as well. Yep, men need balance from women. Women need balance from men. How long are we going to keep acting like these things don't need to exist for us to be successful? Yeah, before everything collapse out here. So, man, I'm just keeping it a buck. Let's see. Shout out to Nicole. She said, let's see. To that meaning of village, the Black community is full of embarrassment. Huh.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see. The community is selfish and there is no reason for it as we are the least wealthy. Huh. Okay, Nicole, go ahead and get it off your chest. I see you wanted to get that off your chest right there.
She's not wrong.
No. She's not wrong at all. And I said I was gonna lock in on that keyword. The keyword is selfish. If folks are moving selfishly. Yep, and that is literally collapsing us from the inside out. Yeah, we moving selfishly when it comes to family. We moving selfishly when it comes to these kids. We moving selfishly when it comes to relationships. Yep, and that is the key. And that is the major question right there. That whole selfish mentality that folks have taken on, can that be reversed? Or better yet, let me tweak that. Can it be improved? I'm coming straight to Vince on this. Vince, can we improve the selfishness, man, to get us to back to some level of how it used to be? Is it even possible?
Well, there used to be a time where we felt responsible for one another. And I'll just give an example of how, even though sometimes it did not work out, men were responsible for not just that baby, but that woman.
Mm-hmm.
You got a girl pregnant, then you responsible for her and that baby. You got to marry that woman. You got to take care of her and that baby because you're responsible. We felt like we were responsible for our neighbors. We were responsible for the children in the community because they were our children. But we don't have that anymore because we don't have family. It all goes back to family, quite. If we can't get these nuclear families, and I'm talking about husbands and wives, it ain't nothing else. It ain't nothing else.
Let me
Because
ask you this,
those are
Vince.
things that's going to blend family together. You got the husband's family, you got the wife's family, you got that extended family. Then when they get married, you got the husband's family, you got the wife's family, you got that extended family. You got aunts, uncles that are not only community, but blood related. See, a lot of our villages were our families. It was that auntie. it was that grandparent. But now we don't even know each other. I have friends that have babies with women that their mothers don't even know. Don't know none of the daddy's people. You know, they might end up sleeping with their sisters and brothers. It's gotten that bad, way. So, and then I think, don't nobody want to be checked. Don't nobody want to be critiqued. Don't nobody want to do nothing different. So if I don't have a community, then I don't have no accountability. I can do what I want to do. And then when the kid turn out bad, or when your situation turn out bad, now you want the community. But now it's too late.
That's real. That's real right there. Let me ask you this, man. You just made a good point about men, you know, especially back in those times where we did have more community feeling responsible or being, feeling that they were responsible, you know, for the mother of the child and the child that was created in that situation. In your honest opinion, Vince, do you feel like, or do you think the reason why we see a lot of situations where those guys have separated or left the mothers and left the family essentially is because those men felt unneeded or unrespected?
I think we just out here fucking.
Okay.
These people ain't planning no babies. Wow. We just out here fucking. That's it. I told you, it blew my mind that my wife was the first woman that I was actually having sex with to get her pregnant to have a family. I wasn't, I hope I pull out in time. I hope she ain't missed that pill. I hope she ain't missed that marina shot.
Right.
For 20 years. That's the problem. We just out here having sexy. There's no feeling, and I keep telling these women, these men are not connected to that baby because they ain't connected to you. Men love that woman.
Thanks.
Men are connected to that woman. The woman is connected to the child because the child is growing inside of her. If that man is not connected to you, 7 times out of 10, he ain't going to be connected to that baby. And that's just how it goes. It ain't rocket science. If we look at every other successful community, they have high rates of marriage. That's really the only difference. I lived in Allen Park. I lived in Dearborn. And the only thing that's different, they all worked at Ford. They worked at Henry Ford. They worked over here. But you know what they were? They were married.
Right.
And unless we understand, well, you don't have to be. You still can co-parent. You still can be in your kid's life. You still can. It's all inadequate. I'm sorry, it just is. And you look at all these different circumstances. You know one thing in common with all of them? Daddy wasn't in the house. Daddy wasn't them extra eyes protecting his children. Well, he said, well, you know, I'd rather have, if we ain't happy, well, them kids might have still been alive.
That's real. That's real. No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I just wanted to see what you saw there, man. But you know, and even what you was just saying, man, it's going back to the selfishness again. Yeah, folks just thinking about self and what they want at the time. And I said, these are the results. These are the results that we seeing right now. Man, yeah, this a wild one right here. Let me get this comment. Let's see. Donovan said improvement of selfishness. That's gonna cut on my me time. You know what, Donovan? As funny as this comment is, you spot on, man. I wonder how many folks feel that way, man. If I if I stop being selfish and got responsible, that's gonna cut into my me time, my fun time. That's gonna cut into my brunches. That's gonna cut into my girls and my trips. Man, you ain't this is an interesting comment, but it is spot on, man. Appreciate that comment right there, man. Donovan also said selfishness has removed the respect factor in this climate we're in today. No doubt. Yeah, respect is it's almost like we threw that out the window. Yeah, I remember a time when you just respected somebody just off their gender. Yeah, I remember a time, you know what I'm saying, walking up the sidewalk and you had the, you know, the wino up at the corner and you still respected him because he would always drop some gems on you about how not to move out here. Yep, on how not to move like him and end up in his situation. You still respected him. But yeah, we didn't throw the respect out the door. Go ahead, Vince.
I don't know if y'all remember that case. I think his name was Javante or something. He was the quarterback for Cass. And he wound up slamming the security guard because the security guard told him to take his hood off.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
You had people that were actually saying, well, why you gotta take his hood off? Because the authority figure told him to take it off. Period. People could not understand it. Well, maybe his head was cold. Maybe he... I was like, are y'all serious? He's an authority, an adult authority figure asking you to take your hood off. And that's why we got people coming into church with their pants hanging down and the deacon can't even say nothing to him. Got his whole ass out in the church.
That's true.
Well, come as you are. I don't know, Quay. It's bad out here, man. The respect, the discipline, the respect for authority. It's gone. I got into my 30s and I still wouldn't cuss around my grandparents. And I'm grown. We would go to Red Lobster. I would want me a nice little strawberry daiquiri. I wouldn't get one because my grandma was saved, sanctified. She ain't believe in drinking. I respected her, so I got me a Coke.
Dude, I feel
I don't care
you, man.
if I was grown or not. I wasn't cussing around my grandmama, around any adults.
I feel you, man.
I'm 52 years old, and if I see an older person, I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Yep, I agree. I agree, man. I said there's still certain things I'm not saying around my parents. Like it's just things you just don't do. Yeah, certain tones you just don't bring to your elder, man. Like, so now I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, sometimes you having conversations with folks older than you got to catch like, nah, nope, we ain't doing that. We're not saying that. So now I agree with you on that, man. I agree with you on that. Let's see, Wizzy. She said facts. Yeah, no, she know what it is. She know what it is. Let's see, Nicole. Let's see. That's not the difference. They have tradition, values, agreement, which all lead to community. Okay, so she was going back to what Vince was saying about the other communities. That's not the difference. They have tradition, values, agreement, which all lead to community. Okay, I feel that. I feel that comment right there. See, Nicole also said Quay Price because one came to help or at least asked to see if anyone else could. Once you get that rejection, survival mode kicks in and you try to make up for what's missing, leading to exhaustion. You know what, Nicole? Coco, you want to say something? Go ahead.
What does that mean?
Come off mute. You on mute. Come off mute.
Sorry, y'all.
Let me give you the context. So I think this response is based off of, let me see. She dropped a comment right here. So earlier she dropped a comment. It became that way when people felt rejected for asking.
Yeah.
Then I asked her about the rejection piece, and then she responded with this comment.
Okay.
She's
gonna come on that part. She's gonna come on and explain. I'm gonna let her come on because my point wasn't exactly specifically to her. So Nicole, I'm gonna wait for you to come up and speak your piece. I was actually gonna go back to the comment that she made about community, right? And I just think it's funny. Like, she's not wrong, by the way, but I think it's unfortunate because we literally, that's what's interesting. For us to be told, and I'm gonna use air quotes because I don't believe nothing they tell me anymore about our history. For us to be told that we came over here in some ships and our history in this country, that's the way it started. And basically they've erased everything before that point. It's interesting for us if we go with that story. It's interesting that we're the group that came over here and our history and our culture and even our language was stripped from us, and we were not allowed to be seen as human beings and have real position and real rights in this country in the very beginning and for a long time. But after we became a more real part of society, I would even argue that of all the groups, we were very community focused. We had high morals and values. Like the Black community, we had high morals and values. We were very community focused. It was the only way we could survive. Like it was the only way we were able to set up little micro communities within their communities, where we all had our own businesses and our own schools, and we had our own way of life and our own churches and the way we worshiped and everything. So we were very community focused, and we were definitely a culture that was steeped in tradition and values and moral standards and a moral code, right? I think we should be asking ourselves, when did that change and why? I think that's the question we really need to be asking ourselves. And then we need to kind of follow that path of breadcrumbs to figure out at what point did we become less community focused? At what point did we lose our sense of self and tradition and our core values and our moral code? Like what happened? What distinctively happened? And we are so heavily influenced by the society around us at this point that we have to at least entertain the fact that some of that was once again stripped from us, right? They stripped us when we came here. And this is not a blame game. This is more for us to understand how we got here. I don't do the whole blame thing. I'm Black and so, I'm this and I don't believe in that. You can do whatever it is you need to do. You can live whatever type of life you want to live. I'm simply saying, in order to understand how we are where we are today, we do have to think about our lived experience in this country, right? And to be stripped of your identity and your culture, to become subservient to a different culture, then to be finally integrated into society, right? And then everything about who you are now gets watered down. Everything about who you are is a whitewash so that you can now fit in and integrate, right? So I think we need to follow the trail, follow the breadcrumbs. How did we lose our sense of community? How do we lose our sense of traditional values and morals? And like Vince was saying, like, even from a religious standpoint, how did we come from, having a standard of how we treated, adults, respecting their thoughts and feelings and opinion, and to get to the point where now children are fighting adults, where they have no respect for authority, right? How did we get here? Because this is definitely not how we started. This is not how we started. And why are we the community that seems to be the most affected by society at large?
That's real right there. No, that's real. Let me come over to Cole. I know Cole just hopped on. Cole, you want to get something off your chest? What was you about to say? Come off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I was trying to answer your question.
Which one?
I think it was the second one.
You gotta tell me something. Would you put something up? Go ahead, say what you want to say, Cole. Go ahead, say what you
I was
want to
trying
say.
to answer your question.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
You gotta pull up the comment again.
I don't know which comment was.
It was the second one.
You don't know
Coco,
what you
you read.
said?
I
What's going
did.
on? You don't know what you just said? It came out of your mouth. How do you not remember?
No, I got all type of questions. That's what I'm trying to figure out which.
That one. Was
Go
it?
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I was asking about the. I asked about the rejection, but yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So I was saying that I think the feeling of rejection comes in when the person, obviously, if they're asking for help or something like that, or seeming if they need help, that's like a state of vulnerability for them. So they feel rejected if either they're getting a runaround, or at least the person is not thinking to say like, oh, if I can't help, I know somebody that can help, or something like that. So I think that's when the aspect of rejection comes in. And then I think the natural reaction from that is, well, obviously they still need help. So at some point they just kind of have to figure out, how can they basically like either overcompensate to help themselves, thus leading to like survival mode and then long-term exhaustion.
So let me ask you this, Cole. Let's go in. Let's go ahead and go there.
Yeah.
So
I was
folks
just
who
trying to
are
respond to your comment.
no. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, I said this is a real issue, right?
Mhm.
So even those folks who are saying that the village is missing, they don't have no help, they don't have no support. Keep it a buck with me. Do they really want help? Or let me give you some context. Do they really want help, or do they want help on their terms?
So I think more common than not, they probably want help on their terms. I don't know what that is. I
Yeah.
would just say that's just like maybe just a natural human thing. But I would say at some point, if they're reflective enough and they see really where they need help, I think again, some self-reflection and vulnerability comes back in where they say, okay, this is really how I need help, and I have to like remove myself out of my own way to get the help that I actually need.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go with it, right? So, I'm saying a lot of folks who are saying that these villages are missing, they don't have no help, they doing it all by themselves. A lot of times it's folks wanting the help on their terms. Yeah, but see, you can't always do that, because see that this goes back to the whole selfish mentality. Yeah, but if somebody is helping you in your situation, you can't always control it.
Mm-hmm.
It can't always be on your terms. If you say you need the help, you need the help. Yeah, but if you over here with a flat tire on the freeway, you can't tell the dude how to change your tire. Yeah, if this dude pull up and say, hey, say you need some help, and you like, hey, my tire flat, and he get to swapping your tire out, you can't always tell him how to change the tire. He got to change the tire and get you back rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we've taken on so much of a selfish mindset these days. We even want to control the help. Yeah, we even want to dictate the help and how the help comes. If somebody can say, hey, you may say, I need somebody, can you watch my kids for me? And they like, hey, so I can watch them for a couple hours before I go to work. And people got the nerves, get a little attitude, because they're like, damn, you can't watch them for all night so I can be out here in these streets. Like, no, that ain't how that works.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word for that. Yes, selfishness, but it's like another word.
Entitlement.
Yes, ultimately, ultimately,
But what if
ultimately,
that
yes.
what if that man puts what if that man puts the tire on backwards and you know it's backwards? So does it depend on the quality of help you're getting? Because you can ask for help, but it may not necessarily be the right help. You saying what, Chloe? I was just
I
thinking
mean,
like,
I got a sound effect for you, man. Hold on. No. Joe, you tried it.
I did.
You
Oh, well,
tried it, Joe. You know that man can't put that tire on backwards. But how you
that's
going?
true.
Herschel, get your boy, Herschel. How we putting tires on backwards, man? I don't even know how that's possible, man. Get
I
your
was
boy,
going to say
Herschel.
we got a bigger problem there. If that's the case.
Joe tried it. He tried it, man.
he
All right,
always
let me
trying it. I peeped that
yeah,
comment too. He always trying it now.
no, he be trying it. He be trying it. All right, I'm gonna slide us into another one. So let's see, Herschel, man, I think you sent this over, man. This is yeah, let me see.
For the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger, she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her too much. I didn't understand it. I still don't. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA. And he said, you need to come back to LA. I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys. I was like, no, this is unacceptable. I have been researching car life. There's a whole community of people that live in their cars, and a whole community of people that live in their RVs, and a whole community of people that live in vans. Van life, car life, RV life.
All right. So let me come down to Herschel. So I know you sent this over to me, Herschel. I know you were I think you were tying this to the village concept, man. So what was you thinking on this one, man? Drop it on me.
My take on that was what I got from it was like didn't they like win Grammys when they like that's
yeah, just to give context. So that's Dawn from In Vogue. So yeah, so she's been living in her car. What'd she say? 3 years. So just give you some back context of who that young lady is. All right, go ahead, Herschel.
So yeah, it was just kind of sad for me because I feel like I guess when she was on the top, maybe I think she was the community. You know what I'm saying? I think people were going to her for resources and things. You know what I'm saying? And just like that, she probably kind of did like the MC Hammer thing, where she was trying to make a community but she was putting too much in, and then she didn't make right choices, and then I guess she lost it all, I guess, and now she's like in need, and so she was the community, so there was nobody for her, and now where's her community at? Who's there for her? And then the thing about the whole like the RVs and all like that's some evolved new other community where it's a bunch of people, a bunch of independent people doing their own. They're in a community, but they're doing their own thing. They're all in their own separate cars. Like that's just like that's what this world has come to. And yeah, so that's kind of what I took from the video. There's many things I took from, but that's the main thing that stood out for me when I first watched it. I was just shocked, like, dang, it's another one that just lost all her whatever she had. It was just, I was just kind of sad to see that. Like where's her community? I'm sure she helped out a lot of people in her prime, but where are they at?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that right there, man. Vince Cole, y'all want to say anything on this at all, or y'all good right now?
I
Go ahead,
can't.
Cole. I'll come off. Go ahead, Cole.
So more of the smaller aspect of the video, the aspect where she talked about how she stayed with her mom and she couldn't stay with her anymore because she respected her more than basically causing an issue. The aspect of her mother, that she said that her mother was taking her anger out on her. I think that's an issue or aspect that does need attention. Um, again, I don't know what that particular scenario is, but I do hear that more often. Um, and that's it's really I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a generational thing or something like that, but I think that's also a separate issue where it's like, you know, in other communities, going back home really isn't an issue. For some reason, in ours, it's always a problem. And I don't hear a lot of other parents' judgment because I think automatically they understand economically what that means. If for some reason I feel like our community just is okay with just putting their kid out and letting them struggle and let the streets just deal with them however way, as opposed to making a more economical and safer decision.
Right. No. So I feel you on that. So that is an issue. Yep, that is an issue. For me personally, I always tie that back to basically a scarcity mindset. Yep, as Black folks, sometimes we do. We have a scarcity mindset, and what I mean by that is we are always concerned if we're going to lose something or if somebody is going to take something, and it makes us very territorial. Yep, and I know that situation was created economically. Yep, the situation of some of this scarcity that we mentally carry, that we don't understand that we carry, I know that it was economically created. Yeah, we've been, a lot of folks were put in a situation where they did not have. So as soon as they were able to acquire something, now it's like I got to protect it with my life. Yep, I got to protect it with my life. I can't let anybody near it because I may lose it. I may not be able to get it back. And it's a scarcity mindset. And we struggle with that. And we don't even realize that. Yep, even in this situation with Dawn and the mom, it's just like that probably was territorial. You coming into my space. I got this situated. I'm over here rolling. Now you over here, what I'm saying, need some help all up in my space. You taking from what I got going on. I got to get you up out of here. Yep, and that's that mentality. To your point, Cole, what I'm saying about, folks pushing these kids out the house, pushing them out here unprepared, with no structure, with no tools, with no mentoring, with no leadership. That's a part of that scarcity as well. If I can't have you sitting here sucking up what I done worked hard for and what I done got out the mud and all of that, and you got to go out and get your own. Like, that's where that mentality comes from, unless it's sometimes we let that overpower what we essentially we let that overpower situations where we need to move in a structured leadership type of way. Yep. So we just end up creating enemies. We end up creating broken homes. We end up creating situations where the kids don't feel supported and so forth. So yeah, that scarcity mindset is heavy. Yep. And this once again tying back to that selfish piece. Yeah, but we don't acknowledge that. Let's say, Vince made this point earlier. Let's say this is conversations we don't have, we're not ready to have. Yeah, but a lot of Black folks do. We have a scarcity mindset and it affects a lot of our relationships and situations. You want to say something else, Cole?
Yeah, so I was gonna say with that, I think so that initial situation would have been her aspect of feeling rejection, which is probably why she responded to the guy that did put her up in the hotel to say that that's unacceptable. If the guy knew of the previous situation, I mean, I don't know obviously of his reaction, but I think if he didn't know about her previous situation, maybe he took like what she said maybe the wrong way, as if she didn't want the help. Um, so yeah.
I got you. No, I appreciate
It
that
was
right there. Go
I
ahead,
did a
Joe.
little just like looking at the basic profile. It looks like you guys said earlier, the community aspect and how she basically took the MC Hammer approach. Was looking out for others, members of her group, but eventually she was apparently kicked out of the group because she was trying to stand on the we're not getting paid enough as a group. Doesn't appear it was just about her, but she was trying to be the voice for the group. But I don't know if the other members had a role in playing and getting her removed. But what it does look like is that the other members are still going on tour without her. So they're still doing their thing without her. But it looks like she took the fall or took the sword for the group. So disagreements over contracts and money, not just for herself, but on behalf of the group. So even after all these years later, they still, if that's true, if she was the one who spoke up for them or try to, but the other ones were kind of silent and quiet about the situation and decided to go along and get along, and now they're still going on tour. Presumably, they're making some money, otherwise they wouldn't be doing the tours. It would then beg the question: why would her own group members not make it an effort to get her back on tour so she can continue to sing? Because they made some good music. I remember a lot of the music that they made, and it's not acceptable that, to me, if she is the one who stuck up for them, right? And we got to make more money. Hey, y'all, we all thinking, yeah, sure. And then they kind of backdoor her. If that's the case, then it's foul. But it seems like it's that me selfish mentality. It's that, yeah, we're not making as much as we should, but we're going to take these peanuts and rock with it, and we're going to sacrifice you for it. But in contrast, when someone said that other groups and communities do things the opposite way, I look at the stories about Friends, and the white, I guess the white people in New York, that TV show, and how the reason why they were able to make the money they were able to make is because all were on one accord. When they all would not do a show unless the other got paid equal and fair share of the value of the show, what they were actually worth. But if it was just one that was out of step, one I was out of line, if half of them said, "Hey, we'll do the show for less money," and the other half said, "We're not," they would have completely disbanded the show. But the reason why it worked is because they stuck together. So you notice that a lot of communities, they do that. It's white communities, Arab communities, and Dearborn, even Jewish communities. It's kind of like a one for all for one type of deal. Whereas in our community, if you take the risk of standing up, you might get MC hammered, you might get domed. So that's what it looks like that is. And so people learn from that, say, well, hey, if this is how it's going to be, then I'm just going to make my money. I'm going to do my thing. And that's how I think that the Black community has kind of devolved in that me, I got to get it by all means possible. F that dude, F her. They ain't worried about me. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, that's that scarcity again, man. Go ahead, Coco. You want to say something?
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say. That's the scarcity mindset. That's what it is. When you have worked hard to get something and you finally achieve that, or you finally get to that place, sometimes it can create this fear that, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm comfortable. I have what I have, and it took me a long time to get here, and I don't really want to rock the boat, and that probably was a little bit of what was there as well. Also, I don't know enough about their story. There, like Eva said, there's some that are saying she had the reputation of being difficult to work with, and that at one point she even walked away from the group. So there's always multiple sides to the story. So who really knows? Only they know. But I do think that that's part of it, right? I think that's at the core of a lot of what we see going on. I think scarcity mindset affects us in many different ways. That's probably why a lot of us are going around here saying, "Don't say nothing to my kids."
Yeah.
We were definitely more open and more willing to collaborate, more willing to work together. Just, Cole said earlier, that community mindset. We were more willing to do that. But I think that people, what we have achieved or been able to achieve in this country is so fragile that people almost, I think, are scared to lose it. Like, imagine being citizens in a country, and we have to touch on this because it's just true, guys. Not to make us victims, because we're not that, but imagine being citizens in a country where you feel like somebody gave you something. Someone's allowing you to have a life. They're allowing you to own property. They're allowing you to drive nice cars. They're allowing you to have good jobs. They're allowing you to live in certain neighborhoods. When you have that mindset like that, instead of being brought up to believe that you earned it, then yeah, you'll be scared that it's going to get taken away at any moment. Right. Because even though they'll tell you, oh, you earn money, you earn your job, you earn your house, you earn, and one, they'll tell you, oh, you earn that. But then they'll set up a system where you feel like they're allowing me to have it. They're allowing me to have this house. They're allowing me to have this job. They're allowing me. Anytime that's what imposter syndrome is about. Anytime you're at a company and there's 2 or 3 of you that look like you, but 80 to 90% of everybody else does not. And even though you work hard and you're great and you're smart and you're talented and you contribute and all of those things, all of those things are true. In the back of your mind, there can be times where you go, any day, like, they can decide they don't want me here. Even though you earned your position, even though you earned your right to be there, any day they can decide, because after all, they're allowing me. They're allowing me. And I think Black people have to be real about that. A lot of times we feel like we're being allowed. And so then that creates this scarcity mindset in us and this low-key fear that even though I've earned all of this, could they come and take it all away? So, I mean, I think that, that sometimes we don't think about that. Like, we don't think about the mentally where the scarcity mindset comes from and why we have it and how it affects so many areas of our life.
Right. No, that's real right there. That's real. Cole, you want to respond to that?
Just add to it. I think also something that contributes to the scarcity mindset is other people's fragile ego of us. And I think that's shown up more and more and more recently. And again, I don't know where that comes from, but I will say, even in my own situation with me starting a new job, I have this person I'm a very intuitive person, and I feel like, she said that she was nervous, and I'm like, I appreciate your transparency. However, like, in my head, I'm thinking whatever you're nervous about has nothing to do with me. And I'm pretty sure it was multiple things. The fact that obviously I have my education and she has less than that, but she's also been in the company much longer. So I'm thinking in my head, like, immediately, I'm like, chick, you don't even know me. And this is day one of her saying this. I'm like, this is weird.
Nah, I understand.
Wait, what did she say to you?
She said that so literally this, like, my first day, like, so we're remote, right? And I just had like my check-in meetings with her and just trying to figure out what the training plan was. And we were just doing like the intro meeting. She was like, good morning, how are you? I'm like, I'm good, how are you? And she was like, yeah, so this is kind of what I'm thinking for this week. I'm like, okay. And then she was like, I'm nervous. Are you nervous? I'm like, I don't know.
Should I be? The hell?
I know.
Should you be? That's weird.
And I kept quiet, and I've been keeping quiet ever since. And honestly, she's displayed more and more of her fears, which to me, yes, which to me really makes no sense, because I'm like, one, I'm here to do a job. Two, like, not only that, like, I have a career to get to, lady. So, all of this people issues that have nothing to do with me, like,
yeah.
It always gonna have something to do with you.
Yeah,
So
but I
as
was
long as you
saying,
work with God,
mhm.
it's always gonna have something to do with you. There's no escaping it. Even remote, you're
Yeah,
still gonna
no,
put
that's
with
the
politics.
yeah. To
It's,
me, that was just a confirmation. Like you're just afraid of my whole existence, and that also has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, no, that situation takes place a lot, and I think even here in that situation, like I said, I appreciate you being transparent about that. Even here in that situation, this is why we have to approach each other differently. Yeah, we're dealing with our own nonsense, you know what I'm saying, with other folks. So we definitely have to approach each other differently. Yeah, we got to come up out of that scarcity mindset. We got to come up out of that selfishness that we display towards each other. Yeah, that's tearing us down internally. Yep, outside of what's going on from the external. So yeah, like I said, we got to just be real about these things and understand that I said once again directly, we are not each other's enemies. We are not against each other. We all trying to survive and make it and move forward out here. And that's just really what it comes down to. So yeah, we got to keep that in mind. But I appreciate you sharing that. I'm gonna drop this last one before we get up out of here. Let's see, I don't want to keep us on here all night. So this is an interesting video. I'm gonna see what y'all say about this.
A lot of women, they come on my show, they describe the same guy. They want him to have money, have swag, be attractive, and all of that. Now, I might have 10 of those guys, then I have 3,000 women. So just from that type of guy, there's just not enough to go with every person. Also, the things everybody's saying they want our grandma's love, like she just said, y'all don't know what grandma went through to keep that love. I would be happy by myself, taking care of myself before I tolerate your BS. So I say all that to say, if you really want to be a wife, character is all that matters. Not money, not height. Is this man going to be there for you on your dying bed? If you couldn't walk tomorrow, would he wipe your behind? Those are the only components, and that's how women will run the game again. Because we put out there, you got to be attractive, because you got to have money, those men are acting up, and they acting like a damn fool because they know they got so many women that want them. Just date. Like, you know, people are like, Kendra, I need a man, and the Uber driver dropped him off. Well, was the Uber driver nice? Just go for coffee, girlfriend. It's just coffee. Like, you never know, because that Uber driver might be an Uber driver, but maybe saving to make his own fleet, and maybe you're the sauce that can help him market it. A lot of marriages really are partnerships. Like, we just think the man's the head of the house, but maybe it was the woman's idea, he executed. And a lot of women who are powerhouse, I know she said you don't might want to build a man, and I get that, but you might also have no man to build. Either you can have a no man or invisible man or yourself. Like, you got to pick out of it. It's just the real talk.
All right, last one, then we go. So what did y'all hear? What did y'all hear? I'm just curious. Go ahead,
I heard a lot of cap.
Uh-oh.
Can I
Go
please
ahead.
speak on this one?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I heard a lot of cap. It's not going to happen. Them 35 and 40-year-old women are not going to settle for an Uber driver. They gonna worry that man to death, get on his nerves, try to push him to own a fleet of Ubers. And he don't want to own a fleet of Ubers. He want to own one Uber and go to Chick-fil-A. So all that is cap. What they need to be asking is, what do these men want? She doing all that capping. She don't have nobody. She not married. I think she dating somebody. But at the end of the day, the problem is they need to be asking these men what they want. And I think your boy put them on blast, and everybody that stole his stuff. She stole his stuff. She stole Kevin Samuel's stuff now. Everybody know that. You know she stole it. All this, and at her age, if a man ain't got it by then, he ain't gonna get it. If he ain't got it by 35 and 40 years old, you ain't gonna come into his life and be the Queen Sheba that's gonna inspire him to be no 100,000 there if he ain't no 100,000 there already. So that's the fallacy. Those type of men got it in themselves to be who they are. They don't need you to help them do it. They're 35 and 40 years old. If they don't have it by then, they don't want it and they ain't gonna get it. Now, if you can settle, Just like your boy, if you can settle for a nice $50,000 guy, and you pay 80%, and you still can treat him, and see, that's the issue too. You can't get with him and treat him like shit. And see, that's what they do. They get with these men. Well, you're an electrician. Why don't you start your own business? Well, I don't want to work 12 hours a day. I don't want to work 12 hours a day. I like my nice little truck and my nice little apartment, and my TV dinners. And I know you used to going to Eddie V's and Ocean Prime and going to Jamaica, and you like to travel. I love to travel. I like to fine dine. Come on, that's cap. Just buy a dog and die alone. Because you're not going to accept these men. I've seen it. I see on Facebook every day. I see it on Facebook every day. They get married in April. They divorce by June.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. All right. Coco, I know you came off. You want to say something? Go ahead.
I didn't have, no, I mean, Vince said it, but I mean, I didn't have a lot to say. I was just going to say, are we taking advice from Kendra? Like, is that where we are? I mean,
I'm trying to take some advice from Kendra.
I mean, we taking advice from her.
I'm trying. I was gonna try to give her some credit.
I mean, no, for repeating the same thing Kevin Samuels was saying before he passed away.
Well, no, so hold on. She definitely is copying the blueprint.
We gonna give her credit.
I was gonna try to give her some credit. And then the one statement that she made, and she said, character is all that matters. And
Cap.
Okay, but
all that matter.
Okay, but hold on. So I agree with you. She's not wrong that character. I will say character should be the thing that matters the most.
Right.
However, I'm not trying to be mean, but this is what I mean. Are we taking advice for Kendra? Like Kenyatta said, she's not with her African anymore. Did she worry about his character? Because from what we're hearing about him, and his many identities, character wasn't his strong suit. So while you're getting on the microphone and you're telling other women to only worry about character, you're not even doing that yourself. This is why I say be careful with these dating gurus that don't have actual receipts of success. Because even a broke clock is right twice a day, right? So I'm not saying she can't make a valid comment here and there. Sure, she can. They all can. But when I look at your life, what is it saying to me? Right? Like, it just is what it is. Like, you're not about to build a man. You was just talking about Corey Holcomb and how he don't have a shot with you. And he ain't exactly poor. So you just have to go like, ladies, take it back to the basics. Y'all making it too hard. It don't even really got to be this hard. I understand, like Donovan said, the ratio of men to women, women are outnumbering men. I get it. But that wouldn't be a problem for y'all because y'all said y'all don't mind dating outside y'all race. So if y'all don't really mind dating outside of your race and, you're divesting to a certain extent, then why are we worried about the ratio of the women? Apparently that's, he don't have to be in the U.S. apparently, according to y'all. So why is it even really an issue? The problem is you don't have yourself together. You haven't done the work on yourself so that whatever percentage of men are out there will actually be interested in you. That's the major key. Whether he's here or in Thailand or Brazil or Mexico or wherever he's at, he still wants the same thing that the men here in the West are saying they want. So if you are not willing to give him that, it doesn't matter. So focus. My thing would be, to give you some advice, is start with yourself. And I don't mean the external things. Getting your hair done, your nails done, all of that, that's fine. You got a new booty. You done lost a few inches in your waist. You had that sucked out.
Oh, come on.
That's cool. That's cool and all. But I'm talking about your personality. I'm talking about you having character. So you get character first. And then you'll be able to find a man of good character.
Okay, let me check in with JR, and I'm coming back to you, Coco, because I got a question. JR, I saw you pop off. You want to say something real quick, man?
Yeah, I was gonna say, sorry I'm late, but yeah, she's chatting a whole lot of crap. You know, you can't trust these ladies today. You know,
Oh,
first
come
and foremost.
on.
You know, like that's just the reality, man. Like, you know, I think Miss Pro just said it. Like, you know, it starts with them, but of course it starts with the men as well, right? You know, both people doing the work internally and whatnot. But I think it's just one of those things where, from the guy's perspective, yeah, we've seen a lot of women just be making the wrong choices, you know, over and over again, just in the sense of the men that they go for, you know, they've got multiple criteria for what it is, etc., and then they overlook certain red flags, like we just highlighted. You know, apparently she's dating that, you know, so many identities and whatnot. So, but you're out here spitting certain things to women, but you're not doing it yourself. You know, so it's like when we're sitting here, yeah, I'm just thinking like the message is a facade, because we know the way you're acting, we see the way you act, and we just know that because you're not getting what you want now, you're trying to reverse it to get what you want now. And I think for a lot of guys, it's like I said, we can't trust you, because if you wanted to be, you know, if you wanted to work out with a guy and work together, you wouldn't have left and switched up. Because as much as you like to say like, oh, you know, men have changed or whatnot, yeah, there's certain elements of men changing, but there's still the expectation of a man having to be a man when you're dealing with a woman. But for the woman, it's just a black canvas of someone that just standing in front of you. So I like Mr. Vince just said, you know, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna change, because, like I said, we can't trust them.
Okay, go ahead, Vince. Then I'm gonna come back to Coco. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. The problem is the ladies. It's y'all fault, because you only want. And I always hate to use car analogies, but it fits. A G-Wagon don't have to have a commercial. A Lamborghini don't have to have a commercial. Y'all want that. So y'all don't want to get on there saying you want 6 or over 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches. And it's only a few of them. They don't have that. They are the prize. They don't have to advertise. They don't have to do all that. They know that they gonna get it. But see, that's the difference also between men and women. Men understand their value. Men know pretty much what they can get. Men know what they got in their pocket and what they got in their mind. And so I'm gonna find something that fit my pocket and fit my mind, and I'm gonna go on and move on out the way. Ladies won't do that. And they think they all Sierra. Well, Russell picked Sierra. Most men ain't gonna marry Future's baby mama. I don't know why y'all can't get that through y'all thick head. Most men on his level, he don't have no kids. He wanted about all women, and he picks Future baby mama. It's not going to happen, ladies. It's just not going to happen. So understand what you qualify for, not what you deserve, what you're willing to work for. Because also, those type of men are work. The type of man that you want has a program and he wants you to fit into his program. You ain't gonna be able to come in here with all that. I'm an independent woman. I got this. He gonna move you on to the side and find that woman that's gonna fit in this program because that's what he can get.
That's real. No, that's real right there.
So
That's
it's
keeping.
I know it might be harsh, but it's just the truth. Men deal with that truth all the time.
Right.
Yeah, we did it.
Like,
I mean, I thought we did it pretty well. I mean, it's not, we don't, there's some delusional man, but I very rarely come across, even a homeless man would say, yeah, I know my lot of, I know what I can get. You see them, a homeless man with a homeless woman. You don't see a homeless man trying to get with a Sierra, right? He's not, he doesn't have those aspirations because he knows it's not realistic. But if you look at a lot of women I've talked to, yeah, my dream, my ideal guy, and I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, you look like Shrek's baby mama. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna really work. But I'm just gritting my teeth. I'm like, okay, well, I guess dreams do come true. You rub your hands or rub a little lamp, maybe the genie come out and give you something there.
Oh,
Um,
come
but
on.
but to touch on the video, character is all that matters. Yeah, that's not how human beings work. We are superficial. Like we like to talk all this woo woo stuff, and it's all about the spirit that counts, and it's about personality. I've been, I've had women look at me and say, "You." I'm like, "You don't even know me. You. What was the character in that?" To them, it's like, "Oh, that's nice that you're a good guy. It's nice that you treat me well. It's not." But and the same thing with men. We see what's on top and what's on the bottom. We see the lips. We see all these things, the superficial stuff. Before we even think about getting to know your mind and your brain and your personality, we could care less about that. We want to know if we're attracted to you physically first. Yeah, it's superficial, but that's the truth. And women, they want to see a man who has some sort of status, who has some sort of power. Ideally, if he's 6'6", great. If not, he can compensate with all these other things, great. If he doesn't have that, then to hell with his character. And lastly, um, I mean, personally, I the Uber driver thing. Yeah, I just don't see a lot of women doing that unless that Uber driver is a 666 character, and they can tell, oh, I'll overlook the fact he's an Uber driver because of these superficial things. They're not looking at the character. It's another example of that. So that's the only example in which I can see, oh yeah, he's yeah, I want the Uber driver. They don't even think about his occupation. But most men who are driving Ubers probably don't look a certain way. They're probably models. They're probably doing well for themselves. They probably have high careers because of their looks and their appearance. So that's the exception to the rule. But a lot of women are not interested in building a man, really. A lot of women, I think, want to imagine themselves doing it. They imagine, oh, I'm going to be there with them from the bottom to the top, like they did with like the Kendrick Lamar's wife. Oh, I was there with him from the beginning. That's it's very rare. I mean, it's nice when a woman does that. It's appreciated. Can they inspire a man to become his better self? Sure, but there's also a risk to that. You have to assume that the man that you get is going to be the man you're always going to be with. That where he's at in life is where he's going to stay. You have to make that assumption because we can say a lot of things. I'm going to be this. I'm going to own a fleet of cars. I'm not. But you have to look at his actions. It has to be more than just a plan. Is he actively going towards that goal? And then you come in and you help him facilitate that goal. But if he's just talking, talking, talking because he knows that you want to hear big aspirations from a man and you're buying into it like a dummy, then that's on you. So you have to look at more than just what a man says, what he's going to do, and look at what he's actually doing. If he's on a path to getting there, he absolutely can get there a little quicker, a little faster with your influence, with your help, with your support. With you bringing your ideas and your mind to the table. The work you do behind the scenes, he executes on. But you've already seen examples of that taking place before you even got with that man. A lot of women fall for that. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm going to be the next Draymond Green. I'm going to be the next Drake. Yeah, but you still 10 years later. Now you three baby daddies, 3 kids later with the man, he's out. He's still paying child support. He still has a dream of being next Drake. I think I think women should just think a little bit more carefully about the men they get with and who they choose to want to help. And I think last thing is just talk about giving us a chance. Us a chance, like, oh, it's like you're doing us a favor. I guess maybe some women think they have all these cards, but a lot of these women who talk like this arrogance, they're average women wanting to get exceptional men, but they have this disdain for average men, even though they themselves are average women. That I never really figured out. Like you don't like the lot that you're in, which the position you're at. You don't want any man who's in the same position or even slightly above. He has to be like way above. But he's not going to look at you. He's not looking down at you. He's not going to say, "Oh yeah, you're so average and you're the one I want." No, if he does take you, you're going to be the side chick. If he's the type of man you want, you're going to be the option of many. But that's the reality. So I'll leave it
Yeah.
on that.
No, I feel you on that, Jody. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between men and women. And like I said, once again, I still think that there is a layer of selfishness that is leading a lot of this stuff, a lot of this delusion, a lot of this misperspective. There's still a level of selfishness wrapped up in all of that, if we're going to be honest about it. But I want to catch this real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. Coco, you made a point, and you said that women need to get back to the basics. Give me some of the basics, and then we're going to get out of here and take some closing. So give me some of the basics of what the ladies should be doing, how they should be moving, what they need to do to secure they, as Kendra say, they man of character. Yeah, give me the basics, and then we're going to get on out of here.
I think that it first starts with not hyper fixating on what that man can do for you. And looking at it like to the scenario, right? Like instead of it being, what can I get from him? That's the mindset that gets us. He has to have 6 figures. He has to, he has to be well endowed. Because you're thinking about what you're going to get out of it, but you're not thinking about what you can bring to it, right? Like, I think that if we get back to the point where we understand that this is a mutual exchange, it's a mutual exchange, and not hyper fixating on yourself, and is a very selfish way to enter into any type of relationship. And that's usually why they don't work, because we're so hyper fixated on what we can get out of it, what works for us, what's convenient for us, what looks good with us, as opposed to actually trying to say, okay, what can I bring into this situation? If he is bringing resources and he is bringing, character, he got a good job, he got a good personality, he's a nice guy, he's, outgoing, friendly, whatever, he's smart. Okay, those are his characteristics. What are yours? What are yours? See, we get upset as women when men ask, what do you bring to the table? But it's a fair question, because just like you have to interview him to see if he's right for the position, he's interviewing you too. Your pool is not enough all on his own. I know that's what they told you, but it's a lie. It's not. It's not. There has to be something else that comes along with that. And you being able to cook, you being able to clean is wonderful. But that's not enough on its own either. Right? So don't be offended if a man says, well, I can't pay someone to do that. He's right, he can. What's attached to that cooking and cleaning? What else? What else is there, right? He'll take that, he'll appreciate it, but what else? What about he's looking for your character? Just like you're telling him he's got to be emotionally intelligent and he's got to be this and ambitious and all that. Those are character traits. What about yours? And I think women nowadays don't spend enough time working on themselves. And when I say working on yourselves, for goodness sake, I don't mean going to the spa. I don't mean getting a BBL. Like I said earlier, I don't mean getting a lipo. I don't mean any of that. I don't mean keeping your wig straight. Like, I don't mean any of that. I mean working on yourself, because if he has to have good character, you need to have good character too. Like, that's the one thing that Kendra didn't say. She's saying, look for a man with good character. She didn't say be a woman of character. She didn't say that. When I say get back to the basics, it's like, first of all, be desirable, and not just physically. Have traits and character about yourself that a man will say, man, I like her attitude. I like her personality. Like she's fun and she's funny and I feel like I can be myself around her and I feel like I can trust her. Like she's trustworthy and she got a good head on her shoulder. Man, I know that if I do decide to start this business, man, I know she's gonna be able to help. Like I know she's gonna be in there with her ideas and she's gonna be in there, actively participating. We can build this together. I know I'm gonna have like somebody on my team that'll really be real supportive. Right? Like,
yeah.
This is right. Don't go into trying to change a man. That's not what I'm saying. But if that man does literally have a plan to start a business or to, how can you help him with that? How can you support him while he's on that journey? Are you willing to do that? When I say go back to the basics, that's what I mean. I mean, be a woman. Be feminine. Be approachable. Be kind. That's literally how we were built. That's why we're so emotional. Because we're supposed to display these types of qualities. A man is supposed to be able to be vulnerable. He's actually supposed to be able to be vulnerable with us. Nobody but us, actually. He's actually supposed to be able to find a soft place to land with us. That's why he created us as emotional creatures. What I'm saying is be a woman. Walk in your natural state of being. I know that they tried to condition it out of you. I know that they've tried to program it out of you. I know they've tried to talk you out of it. I understand that there is a lot of programming and messaging to tell you that you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that and you don't. I understand that, but where has that gotten you? Not the results that you want. So when I say go back to the basics, go back to being a woman. Y'all don't want to be hard out here. Y'all really don't want to be hard out here. Y'all really don't. And how I know y'all really don't want to be hard out here is because every time something starts going wrong in y'all life, y'all looking around for help. Y'all tired of survival mode. Y'all are tired of living in survival mode. You're doing it because it's what you got. You're an adult. You're doing what you got to do. But you're tired. You're burned out. That's why you're so angry. That's why a man can't even say something nice to you. He can't even, you walking down the street, he can't even give you a compliment. Why are you looking at me? A man asks you to smile. You almost want to bite his head off because he asking you to just smile. Put a smile on. You're a woman. You're a woman. He's expecting to see something friendly and soft and out of you. But you're walking around and burned out in survival mode. That's why you're so angry. So when I say go back to the basics, this is some of what I mean. Actually present yourself like someone a man would desire. On external things. Guess what? The external stuff, don't get me wrong, man likes something nice to look at. Of course he does. We're all visual. As women, we want something nice to look at too. But that's not what's going to carry a relationship and a marriage. Those are not the things. So I would say spend less time prioritizing your lashes and your nails. That doesn't mean you don't keep yourself up. But I think general upkeep is something that you should do just to take care of yourself. Like general upkeep is just something that you should just naturally do. Like who's out here saying, I get my wig done and I got to get makeup and you're going to do that anyway because you're taking care of yourself. Like you're supposed to take care of yourself. I don't even know why. That's not even up for discussion. I'm saying spend less time worried about those things, obsessing over those things and spending all your money on those things and take some of that energy and put it towards yourself and your character. And I'll land out. I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but that's what I mean by those foundational things. Like women, ladies, like let's get back. Y'all want soft life? You know what? You can have soft life whenever you're ready. Because soft life is not sitting on your behind and not doing anything. Soft life is not at the spa every other weekend. Soft life is not, hot yoga. and Pilates. Not saying you can't do any of that. Not saying you can't do those things, but that's not what soft life is. Soft life is just simply living in your feminine energy. It's just simply learning how to have internal peace. That's what soft life is. It's a mindset. It's nothing external. And if we start getting back to prioritizing that, then men will see that. And that's attractive to them. Start there.
Okay, well, I appreciate that right there. I just want you to lay that out real quick. I didn't miss that point. Back to the basics, and I think that's important. All right, we're gonna take some closing. We're gonna get on up out of here. Coco, you want to say anything in closing, or you gonna leave it at that?
That's it. That's my closing.
Okay, appreciate that. Appreciate you closing that out for us. Cole, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
The topic, the village, absolutely, now more than ever. And it really needs to be a village, meaning as defined, a community of unselfish people. And we need to act in such a way that other backgrounds have modeled.
Okay, appreciate that right there. Straight to the point. All right, I thought you was about to come over and cut up tonight, but I see you trying to keep it, keep it professional. Trying to keep it professional. I
I'm
understand.
civil today.
You're gonna give us that LinkedIn. I understand what it is. All right. Let me come over to my guy Vince. Vince, what you want to say before we get out of here, man?
I want to say that community starts with us. We always can make the change. Start with making better decisions. Start with also teaching our children to make better decisions, because I'm always about the next generation and telling them the truth, not our truth, but the truth. And I think we'll be okay. But women, be a man's peace. Figure out what this man wants that will bring him peace, and you'll be okay.
Straight like that. Appreciate that closeout, man. Appreciate that closeout. Herschel, what you want to say before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, goes back to the selfish thing, Yeah, we do need a village, but once we've learned that selfishness, it's kind of hard to get rid of that. It's hard to go back in reverse and be selfless. It's a lot of people can't really do that, and so unfortunately, I'm an optimistic person, but I'm more so now as I got an older, more realist. So unfortunately, I kind of feel like we need another great flood, to reset and start it over. You know what I'm saying?
Say wipe it out.
Unfortunately, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying, like, I think what's happened over, with time, with generations, like with the Ice Age and all, it did have resets where everything just had to start over, and then we had to learn stuff again, because I think it's getting worse. Unfortunately, it's not getting better. We have more platforms, and we can try to make a change. And I think in our lifetime, if one person is making an attempt, that's still good. But as far as a whole overall change, is unfortunately it's gonna have to be a reset.
I feel that. No, sometimes that's what it is, man. Yeah, as harsh as that sounds, I've been saying it for a long time now. Everybody ain't gonna make it. And that's just what it is. So now sometimes you got to reset, man. You got to hit that reset button and start over. And the folks who ready to align and getting in the structure, then they get in line. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do. But for the folks who not, it is what it is. So now I appreciate that closeout right there, man. Joe, you want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Mm-hmm. The Black people need a village. It would seem that the freedoms that we now enjoy has been to our detriment in a strange way. We fought for it, civil rights movement, Jim Crow, and all this. And we are the product of that freedom that we do have and enjoy. But it seems that it goes against everything that we had before. We had far less freedoms to enjoy. When we were forced, I guess, in a way, to be a community. We had to bet our own Tulsas because we needed our own banks. We had to have our own Greenwoods because we needed our own cobblers. But now we don't have to do that no more. We ready to go to Nike. We ready to go to JP Morgan Chase. So when given the choice to be a village, we choose to be separate from each other. And perhaps maybe that's the way it's always been. Now, I say that because we're not the only ones who enjoy these freedoms. Again, we know what Dearborn is like. They have the same freedoms we do, but they still consciously choose to be together and to do business amongst each other. Yeah, I'm going to go to this shop first, even though I know I'm going to pay more money than before I go to Kroger, because that's my brother's brother, my friend of another friend, my cousin, my auntie, or not even they don't even have to know him. Oh yeah, well we share the same something somewhere down the line. I'm going to this shop. We have the option to do the same. Chinatown, Mexican town. We don't. Our town is the hood, the ghettos. Um, so do Black people need a village? Of course. All human groups need a village historically. From the beginning of time since we existed, every human being has needed a village of some sort, even in spite of the great technology we have. This is somewhat of a village, but it's not quite the same. It's not the physical aspect has to be there. The contact has to be a physical contact there. But a lot of us we confuse village for something even like this. It's like a nice placement mat. It's like, okay, this will work for now, but it's not quite the same as the presence of being with a Herschel or with a Quay or Coco, like all of us together. Um, we overcompensate with technology, and that's the village. It's not the same. Um, we have to have actual physical communities, homes, banks, storefronts, that type of thing. Will it happen realistically? I'm optimistic. I would say I hope it does, but at the same time, I'm not waiting around for it to happen. I'm just doing what I have to do to build my own little village, which starts within the household first. Me becoming a father, having children, and then teaching them the values of that. And then hoping that someone else down the line outside of my immediate family does the same with their children, their kids. So, I guess they
Right.
say do the change you wish to see. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. No, I appreciate that, man. Spot on. Appreciate that comment. JR, you want to say anything before we get out of here, man?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, thanks for having me on once again. Sorry I was late because I think what the time's gone back, forward, whatever it is. I don't know whichever way it goes.
Something
like that, yeah. Because I did click on, but obviously I was just checking the topic, and then obviously 1:30 here in the UK normally is the time that it starts. So obviously an hour later, I'm thinking like, hold on, we're not live. What's going on here, like? So
it's
yeah,
10:40 up here.
Yeah, we did daylight savings time, so we sprang forward, so we lost an hour.
Listen, I don't know which way it goes. I know it goes forwards and backwards. I don't know which time, but I get told that time's gone forward and backwards. Like, but yeah, so regarding the village, part of the obviously, the discussion. I was just sitting there thinking, like, back in the day growing up, I remember like there's a lot of things to do in a community, and a lot of things were free. You're able to go to the youth club, etc., and whatnot, and just fun days out, just random kids, just a lot of things. And then fast forward to obviously 2025. Obviously I got a football business that rolling up with my friend, and we do other things in the community as well. And I sit there and sometimes I think like, we're charging these kids, and the a lot of the funding, well, the money that the parents pay comes from like obviously government funding, but a lot of these kids are diagnosed with like ADHD and all those sort of things. So it's like there's a negative aspect to it in terms of the kids are suffering in one way, in terms of not having the fathers and whatnot. And us as a coaches and whatnot, it's like we're playing the father figures, you know, during the week, on weekends, match days and whatnot, just making sure the kids are fine. You're checking in with the parents, you know, they took their medication. Okay, is it going to kick in time, ready for Sunday? How they're going to be? What's their mood going to be like? Those kind of things there. So, you know, it's not a nice situation that we're in. So I do think that we keep saying that we need to bridge the gap in terms of getting back together and making sure that, you know, these kids don't suffer any longer, because it's not nice. You know, as much as, you know, we've all had a hard life, I just think that a lot of kids just get diagnosed a lot too quick and are getting given medication and all those things there. It's not ideal, man. So yeah, we need to sort this out as soon as possible for our community, because we're losing it every day. You know, the moment we don't try and grab it. So yeah, thank you.
No, I appreciate that closeout, JR. I appreciate that, man. Let me just say this and we're gonna get out of here. I challenge everybody in 2025 to let go of the idea or the mindset that you don't need each other. Yep, to all my ladies out here, let go of the mindset that you don't need men. You definitely need men. Yep, to all my fellas out here, let go of the mindset that you don't need women. You definitely need women. We need each other. Yep, this is the breakdown in the community. This is the breakdown in the village. Without men and women coexisting and getting along and supporting each other, there is no community. There is no village. There's no families. There's no relationships. And it's just that simple. Yep, so everybody needs some help. Nobody can do it on their own. And that's how we get to the next level, together. But man, shout out to my panel. Shout out to Coco. Shout out to Cole, Herschel, Joe. My guy Vince was on. Shout out to my guy JR. Appreciate y'all holding me down on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the comments as well, man. I appreciate y'all dropping your comments. You know what I'm saying? Adding to the conversation, man. Definitely a powerful conversation. But man, this is Kandid Konvos, man. We go live every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Well, yeah, we will be back next Wednesday with another hot conversation, another hot topic. But with that being said, everybody have an awesome night. We're going to catch you guys next Wednesday.